banner.
Yeah.
Which one do you put up?
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into already Football Monday night edition as the Bucs get their prime time matchup tonight against the Eagles. Nick Geddes is along with me this morning. We're going to preview the Bucs-Eagles game. We got so much to talk about with college football over the weekend. An absolutely bonkers day in the NFL. The Rays are watching it all slip away, as I thought it might, but lots to get into today. So welcome in. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. We're here for we're going to do an hour this morning, and then we got a 2-hour show tonight, live from the patio. Peter Blake will join me tonight. We'll be live 4 to 7, 4 to 6. We'll see how long we go, how long they want us to go. It's going to get crazy at the patio tonight, and then we'll be heading on over to Raymond James Stadium to watch from the press box and then do a little post-game show for you. So, yeah, it's a full day. I got a full day of football, and love starting it off with all of you. Of course, join us in the comments section, your thoughts on tonight's game. And good morning to you, Nick Geddes. Great weekend of sports, huh?
Yeah, good morning. Football season, man, we are in full swing. We're already, 5 games through the college season. We're already about to wrap up week 3 of the NFL. It's flying by fast, but, man, this is the best time of the year. Go outside. There's a little nip in the air.
Yeah,
it's officially
baby.
Fall, baby, in Tampa Bay over here. And we got Monday Night Football tonight against the defending NFC champions. You couldn't ask for a better setup there.
Yeah, this setup tonight's going to be awesome. Yeah, it probably won't be as cool tonight as it is right now, but a beautiful morning. But it ain't going to be 150 degrees with the sun just beating down on our Buccaneer fans and Eagle fans. Although the Eagle fans will probably be out in the sun. They'll be nice and worn out by the time the bell rings at 7:15. So early kick, which I love. I love Monday Night Football at 7:15. Fan-freaking-tastic. We'll be home by midnight and hopefully with a Bucs win. So we'll get all into it. You guys hit us in the comment section what you think is going to happen tonight. First and foremost, injuries are a big topic in this game. Looks like CD3, Carlton Davis will probably be a game-time decision. We're expecting all the other Buccaneers, Cody Mauch, Devin White, Vita Vea, to all go. Kalijah Cansey and Servassier Dennis, the Pittsburgh pair, will be out tonight. And all the guys that were questionable are going to play for the Eagles. Bradbury, all the guys up front, they're all going to go, as we told you last week when John Kincaid was on from Philadelphia. So, the Bucs will be missing some key pieces. This is, to me, this game all comes down to the Bucs offensive line against the Eagles defensive line. That's, to me, the Bucs seem a little bit overmatched in that area. Hainsey has not played well this year as well as he did last year. I don't know if he's battling injury or something. Cody Mauch has not been great. Gedeke has not been great. Filer and Wirfs have been pretty good. But I'm worried about that interior line going up against Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Hassan Reddick and the whole group. That, to me, is where this game is going to be won and lost. And if Dave Canales can coach around that and somehow find a way to take advantage of their aggressiveness, then maybe the Bucs got a shot. But that, to me, is where this whole game kind of comes down to. Everything else I kind of see as even, segment-wise, but that's my biggest issue. What about you?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I looked at this game all week on paper, and I agree. I think Hainsey has been the weakest part of the offensive line so far this year. It seems like when there's been pressure, it's been up the middle. And let's be honest, whoever who was coming through the middle against in Minnesota and in Chicago, it's a lot different with Philly
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you got two absolute hosses in Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. You want to talk about a size gap right there between those two guys and Bob Hainsey. That is a big, big time kind of storyline in this game. I do have my concerns. Jalen Carter through the first 2 weeks, like I think through PFF, he's like one of the top graded players like on the defensive line in the entire league.
Yes.
Like, and
Yes.
it's crazy who let the Eagles steal this guy at 9. We're so worried about all these other things off the field and all that. And of course, he shows that he might have been the best non-quarterback in the entire draft. It shows. So yes, that's my big concern. And of course they can rush the passer from all angles. Hassan Reddick is there, got some other guys. So this is a big game for Luke Gedeke as well. We keep saying it. This is and I thought he's honestly passed the test in week 1 against Daniil Hunter. I thought he did okay against Chicago.
Yeah.
But again, this is a different animal going against this Philly team that will give you so many different looks. I like the fact that it's at home. It's a night game. And listen, this has already been a wonky week in the NFL. We had the Cardinals beat the Cowboys, the Texans beat the Jaguars, the Colts beat the Ravens. I mean, maybe this is just the week of the upset, and maybe the Bucs are going to be the last team to pull one off. I don't think it's out of the equation. We talked about the line. I think it started at like 6.5 or 7. It's down to 5 now.
Yep.
So they're getting some love. They're getting some love in Vegas. But as you said, can Dave Canales coach around some of the deficiencies with that team right now against this Philly defense? That's going to be another big key. So big game for Bob Hainsey and a big game for Dave Canales here against this Philly defense.
Yeah, and as I look at some of the other segments, I think the Buccaneers, from a wide receiver standpoint, I think this could be a good night for Mike Evans and Godwin if Baker Mayfield can get time to throw the football. That's obviously the key. These bootlegs, everybody kind of knows what the Bucs are doing with these bootlegs. And if your defensive ends are, and now the Bucs are kind of pulling a tight end off or pulling a tackle off to actually block that side to give Mayfield a chance to throw downfield. So the Bucs are making some adjustments, but that puts your offensive line out in space. Athleticism normally goes to the defense. So that's a little segment I want to watch. Here's some interesting stuff. Just trends for Eagles and Bucs. Eagles are 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 regular season road games. Heavy trend. 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 regular season road games. All the smart money, by the way, coming in on the Bucs at 5.5. It was yesterday. Now it's down to 5. Buccaneers are 2-0 against the spread this year after going 4-12-1 last season. Very interesting. So I think most of the smart money is on the Buccaneers. Now, does that mean Philly wins by 3? I think it's going to be closer than the experts think. But I just, to me, can the Bucs run the football? This is what they've been able to do. Even last week, 120 yards doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough to keep time of possession, to get first downs when you needed to get them. They got them, right? Will they be able to do that against the Eagles tonight when they have to run the football? We'll see. That's that time of possession, but kept the offenses off the field for the Vikings and the Bears. And then you look, the Bears are effing awful. And you say to yourself, wow, the Bears had the ball in the fourth quarter with a chance to tie this game or go ahead.
Right.
Look what happened to them yesterday. The Vikings are what they are, who we thought they are. They're an average team. So yeah, the Bucs are 2-0. Who have they beaten? Right.
Two teams who are 0-6.
Right. Exactly. So I know we want to be upbeat about the Buccaneers. I think they're way better than people thought they were, but I think they're about the team I thought they were. They're a 9, maybe 10 win team, but not, don't go crazy at 2-0 and you got 2 wins over some mediocre football teams. And tonight, this Eagles roster, just look at it. You look at it, Nick. I mean, it's just, they've got one of the best offensive lines in football. Lane Johnson, Cup Kelsey, they're getting a little long in the tooth. I get it. They're still really good. Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate. They've got, 2 excellent receivers. They've got speed. They've got size in the back end, receiving wise. They got a good tight end. They've got everything. They are freaking loaded. Have they played their best football yet? Nope, they haven't, which scares me. I mean, if the Eagles came out and blew the doors off the Bucs tonight, I would not be shocked. I just think their roster is not way better than the Bucs, but better. And they're going to be better than everybody they play, not named the 49ers this year in the NFC. So,
right.
I'm like, okay, let's don't get crazy, Buccaneer fans. I can't pick the Bucs to win this game. I just can't. The Eagles roster is better. Hey, strange things happen on Monday nights. Strange things are happening in the NFL, especially this week. So we'll see.
Yeah, and the other thing too that kind of scares me is AJ Brown has yet to get going this season.
I know.
I think 4 catches for 29 yards against Minnesota. We had the sideline spat between him and Jalen Hurts. Sirianni had to step in. They all downplayed the situation, which I downplay it too. I think that's a good thing. They have high expectations. Have those conversations. Media blows that out of proportion. It is what it is. But so I kind of expect the Eagles, like you said, they have not played their best football. They're 2-0. They were kind of fortunate to get out against New England. They had the buffer. They had like a 2-touchdown lead, I believe, against Minnesota before they kind of got some garbage time there. But still, Jalen Hurts has not played his best football. A couple turnovers here and there as well. I think the big thing, too, for the Bucs is can you stop the Eagles' run? Make them one-dimensional. Because as much as I think Jalen Hurts, I think he's a really good passer, probably better, more so than some people think. I still would love to make him have to throw the ball 30 to 35 times and beat this Bucs defense. Because against Minnesota, he did what he had to do. But guess what? It was DeAndre Swift who was running for 175 yards. It was that team that was running for 259 yards total against Minnesota. But here's the good thing. The Bucs have only allowed 54 yards a game through 2 weeks. That's second in the NFL behind guess who? The Eagles. So we got strength versus strength in the run game there. And Jalen Hurts, we know he can beat you with his legs. But guess what? I just saw last week, albeit a far more muddy situation with what's going on in Chicago, but we had a quarterback that's the best in the league probably at beating you with his feet, not named Lamar Jackson. And you held him inside the pocket, forced him to beat you, and the Bucs defense came up big. And hopefully you get Carlton tonight. I think that's a big thing. I don't know how I feel about Zion McCollum going up against either A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith tonight. That could be trouble. So hopefully you get Carlton in there and he's effective because Carlton, week 1 against Justin Jefferson, second half, he really locked that matchup down. And typically Carlton, when he's in there against these really good receivers, he comes to play. And he can shut down anybody on any given day. So that's a big storyline as well. But yeah, strength versus strength. Can you make the Eagles one-dimensional? Make Jalen Hurts beat you and make them figure out their passing offense, which really has not fired on all cylinders through 2 weeks.
Yep, I totally agree. It's just when you break it down, X's and O's, wides, it's hard to pick the Buccaneers, but they have emotion on their side. I still think they have that chip on their shoulder type deal. Baker's been playing great against pressure, the best pressure numbers in the NFL the last 4 years. So even if the Eagles do get pressure, he's been able to make plays. So that's kind of an equalizer right there, right? Now, can Dave Canales put this offensive line in a good enough position to win with misdirection? And can Baker do a couple Houdini moves? One of these plays where he, escapes a sack and throws the ball downfield and Mike Evans gets, 40 yards a yak like we saw last week. That could be the difference in the game. You got to go out there and play and see who makes the big plays. It's going to be fun tonight. It's going to be a tremendous atmosphere. The only Bucs Monday Night Football game of the year on the schedule. Who knows what happens late with flexes. But and I expect they'll be like there were last week. I'd say it was probably 70-30 Bucs Bears fans. You might get about 80-20, 75-20. There'll be some Eagles fans there tonight. They'll be loud, but it should be a tremendous atmosphere tonight.
And obnoxious. And by the way, as Bucs raise bolts reminded us here in the comments, Rondé's going to be there. Remember that.
That's right. Yes.
At halftime, Rondé Barber is going to get honored for going into the Hall of Fame. We had the movie, which I know, JP, you haven't seen it yet, so I won't divulge that much. Definitely go out of your way and watch it. I know you will.
Yes.
But he's going to be there tonight. We're going to run that play, shutting down the vet. We're going to play it multiple times on the big screen, I'm sure. Hopefully we just get that good karma right there out there, and we take care of the Eagles. And listen, the Bucs have had the Eagles' number in recent years. Let's be honest. In 2021, they beat them not once. They beat them twice. And obviously these two teams have changed a lot since then. But I don't know. I'm a little bullish on the Bucs tonight. I really am.
Yeah, I see.
I don't
You're
know.
a little sneaky on the Bucs.
I'm
I'm not going to
a
bet
little
the game.
sneaky on it.
I'm not going to bet the game because I got too much emotion involved in it.
Yeah,
I try to stay away from.
Yeah,
It's just a weird game to bet. I think if I were going to bet, gun to my head, I'm taking the points. 100% home dog.
right.
Take the Bucs all day long. The 45, I'm going to go over the 45 as well. I think there'll be some points scored in this game. But again, I'm staying away.
What I don't want to happen is, and again, the situations are entirely different, the rosters, all that, but I've heard a lot of people comparing this start to kind of what the Bucs did in 2018, if you remember, when we had the Fitzmagic going on. And what did the Bucs do? They jumped out to a 2-0 start. They were feeling themselves a little bit, and then guess what? It was Monday Night Football at home, Week 3 against Pittsburgh, and the Bucs got humbled. The Bucs got humbled, and that led to, I think, like a 5 or 6 game losing streak, and the season was over. So I see people drawing the parallels there. I think, we'll be honest, the Baker has much more staying power than Fitzmagic ever had a chance to. If we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I don't think the situations are that comparable. But definitely, you don't want to. I think you want to keep this game close. It would be really discouraging to see them get blown out like that at home against Philly, albeit a really good team, because you're kind of feeling yourself a little bit, and then you're going to have to look at the narrative, go, okay, well, they beat Minnesota, who's 0-3 and is a wreck right now, and then they beat the Bears, who are maybe the worst team in the NFL, and then you got your ass beat at home against the Eagles. Then what do you think about this football team?
Well, listen, it's a week-to-week league, so let's not get crazy about it. I still, I'm not one of those people that's shocked by them being 2-0. I'm not. I thought they'd win at Minnesota. I thought they'd beat the Bears. But I'm also not one of those people that are going to go crazy about this 2-0 start. They're still a middling football team that can get better if they're younger players. And this is what we've talked about all year long. That's the storyline for me. How do your younger players develop this year on a march towards your next, hopefully, Super Bowl appearance and win, right? And tonight's a big time for that. How does Cody Mock play? How does Luke Gedeke play? How does Hainsey play? All three of those guys are going to get baptized by the best defensive line in football. Let's see how they play. You guys got to this is going to be the standard. This is how, if you want to be good, this is who you have to be able to play against. Let's see how they do. Christian Isian. Is he going to get another takeaway? They're certainly going to need to win the turnover battle tonight. The Bucs cannot win this game even or losing the turnover battle. Not even close. Can't do it. Going to have to be at least +1, +2 you need to probably win this game. Again, keep looking at the young players. How does JTS play? Does he get in there and get a sack?
Right.
I wish we had Cansey tonight. This is a game where you need Kalijah Cansey. Not going to have him.
Right. But to the point,
it's been good.
Yeah, I was going to get to that too. To the point about Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, I said last week I thought that was the best game that he's played his entire career in a Buccaneer uniform. I thought he was fantastic against Chicago. But you want to talk about a matchup, and again, this is another big moment here, is the Bucs D-line against their O-line. You already mentioned Lane Johnson and Kelsey inside. I'm going to mention Jordan Mailata at left tackle, and the reason why I'm going to point him out is because against Minnesota and Danielle Hunter going up against him for a lot of those reps, he recorded a 96.9 PFF grade and a 90.3 pass blocking grade. That's the highest graded game by an offensive tackle since 2010.
That's pretty good.
That. Yeah, it's pretty good. And he did that to Danielle Hunter. So can Joe Tryon-Shoyinka break through Jordan Mailata, and can Shaq Barrett break through Lane Johnson? Because you've got to get home. You've got to keep Jalen. And at the same time, the linebackers, Devin White, who's been playing great the first 2 weeks, Levante David, they've got to be able to contain Jalen Hurts. I still think that's a big part of this game.
Yeah, and I know people are pointing out, hey, the Eagles barely beat the Vikings. Look, I get that. I don't think the Eagles have played their best football. They lost both of their coordinators. It's going to take time for this roster to catch up with the coaching and everybody to get on the same page. I hope that's not tonight. And don't forget, the Eagles have had 11 days to get ready for this game. That's a huge advantage. That is a huge, huge advantage. So they sat back all weekend long, watched the Bucs. They've broken down their tape. They know what they're doing.
And they got healthy. They're going to have their full secondary. Bradbury, Blankenship, Slay's going to be back there. They got their full secondary. I think the only one they're going to miss for this game is Avonte Maddox. But other than that, they're really healthy, and 11 days helped.
Yep. So tough. Yeah, listen, if the Bucs are to beat the Eagles tonight, I will start reevaluating this football team. And depending on how they do it, right? Let's go. I will reevaluate this team because if they can go toe to toe with this team, then they can beat anybody. They literally can beat anybody, and it will give them such a shot of confidence. Oh my God! So it's huge. I mean, this is in college football. We call these program makers, right? You know, I know it's a week-to-week league. It's not comparable in that way. But when you go up against the best and you're a young team, and don't forget the Bucs are a very young team, despite their core being older and have been around a little bit. They're still, I think, the second youngest team by age in football. So this is, you win a game like this on Monday Night Football. Yeah, it's a huge confidence booster. How does Todd Bowles manage this game tonight? That'll be interesting. How does Dave Canales call it? Oh, this is why you love games like this, because it's like you finally get to unfold and get to read the meat of the book. You got through the first few chapters, it's all setting it up. Now, 3 weeks in, it's week 3 in the NFL. You get a pretty good feeling for who's who, what's what. And tonight's the exposition is over. It's time to reveal exactly what this team is. And I think we're going to be able to see that tonight. So I'm jacked up. Cannot wait. All right, I was going to say this at the top of the show, but I'll save it now. And especially, thank God, I have Nick Geddes here with me today. We will be the only show that will not make any cheesy-ass Taylor Swift references when speaking about the Chiefs and the Bears. Because frankly, we've already done it. Everybody, if you watch the show, I'm a Swiftie with my daughter. We've given you all the Taylor Swift stuff. We were always ahead of the game. We knew this was coming. We're done. It's already jumped the shark, right? So I don't care how many times on Get Up this morning you guys think you're funny. It's so not funny. So we move forward. What did we learn from this game?
The Bears suck.
The Bears are awful.
The Bear. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you what. This game reaffirmed what I already knew. Is that Justin Fields, I'm sorry, and I know you might disagree with this take. Enough with the gatekeeping, enough with the excuses. He cannot play. He cannot play. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's got the perfect situation. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's all on him or it's all on coaching, but Justin Fields is a big part of this, man. He just can't play. And turn on the tape, it'll tell you that. There are guys open down the field. He just won't rip it. He just won't do it. And I don't care how good of a runner you are. And people are saying, well, the Bears are trying to make him something he's not. Yeah, they're trying to see if he could stand in the pocket and throw like every great quarterback in this league can do. I don't care how mobile you are, whether you're Lamar Jackson, whether you were Michael Vick, whether you were Vanilla Vick, Daniel Jones, Patrick Mahomes. All those guys at their best. And even Lamar, because Lamar gets crap for this too. But Lamar has turned himself into a pretty good pocket passer. When they need to, they can stand there and rip it. Justin Fields has not proven to do that. And he's had good protection, okay? Yep. And he's backed himself into a lot of sacks. They went out and got him all the weapons in the world. That they traded a number 1 overall pick, the chance to get a Jalen Carter or Will Anderson or someone like that to go get DJ Moore, right?
Stupid.
And I think it was a stupid move. I don't think DJ Moore is worth the number 1 pick. I don't think trading the number 32 pick for Chase Claypool was exactly a smart move.
Stupid.
Either. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a perfect situation. Maybe he needs to reset somewhere else. But in this current environment, he cannot play. And the Bears are going to have 2 picks in the top 10. They're going to have their pick, which is probably going to be 1. And then they're going to have Carolina's pick, which is probably going to be in the top 10. They're taking a quarterback, and that's the end of the coaching staff. That's the end of Justin Fields, and I'm moving on. I can't be any more out on Justin Fields, and I'm done with the excuses.
Well, listen, I don't think even Devin White, went up to him and said, yeah, they're not using you right.
Well, he said that to DJ Moore.
Yeah, and DJ, well, all of them, the whole damn offense. And so, listen, that's part of it. So I can't totally write off Justin Fields yet. I can't do it because this coaching is so bad, and this organization is so bad. They are freaking clueless on every level. That said, you turn on the tape, and I watched the all 22 of the Bucs Bears last week, and when he hits his back foot, there are guys that are open. There are guys that are open. You got to pull the trigger. And that's going to, and would make all the difference in the world. Then you can get to some other stuff in the playbook. So it's hard for me to, I'm going to rip the coaching staff anyway. You got to start with RPOs. You got to start with Justin Fields in the RPO, and that has to be the majority of the game plan. So, but yeah, still he can't hit his back foot and let the ball go with the anticipation. If you can't do that, you can't play in this league. I mean, that's
and by the way, and here's my rebuttal to that, by the way, if everybody's making excuses. I just watched on Sunday. My eyes saw it yesterday. I watched C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Third
good.
start. Okay. Go up against a team that was a couple plays away from being in the AFC Championship last year, one of the favorites in the Jacksonville Jaguars, who admittedly are not playing their best, but still on the road. 4 of his 5 offensive linemen not playing.
Yeah.
Playing with rookies like Tank Dell. And I just watched C.J. Stroud put up a masterful performance, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards, 34 points. And that's in his 3rd career game.
Yeah. Well, listen, when everybody asked me, who would I take at quarterback in that last class, it was C.J. Stroud. It wasn't Bryce Young. That's for damn sure. Oh, wow.
No.
Wait a second. Is Bryce Young hurt already? Yeah.
Yeah, and also, we can't. He's
Already.
so small and so frail
small
that we can't even run quarterback sneaks.
No, we got to bring in somebody else to run.
And listen,
sneaks.
he's probably hurt. He's gonna miss. He missed yesterday. He might miss week 2. But I think part of this too is you got to save that kid. I think you got to save him before, because I know it's early in his career.
For what?
I said this in the offseason. I know for a fact I said this. Are we sure Andy Dalton is not better than Bryce Young today?
Of course
I said
he is.
that in the
Of course he
offseason.
is. Of course he is.
You're not obligated to have to play these quarterbacks.
No, you're not.
Game 1, week 1. Andy Dalton played really good football last year for New Orleans. Almost got them to the playoffs in a backup situation. Andy Dalton yesterday. Did you see what they did? The offense looked a lot smoother. They scored 27 points on the road against Seattle. Bryce Young can't do that right now. So I think it's best have him sit a little bit, watch how it's done.
Yes.
Let's not go crazy. Bryce Young still has a chance to be a really good quarterback in this league. But for right now, he just needs to sit. I think that's what yesterday told me.
Well, first of all, I don't think he'll ever be durable enough to play in this league. And by the way, as we transition to the Miami Dolphins scoring 70 points with Thick Tua, look, he looks good. This Miami offense is explosive. I saw this last year when they were here for the joint practices. I was like, holy shiz. This offense with the Cheetah and Waddle and Gesicki, the whole group, and as accurate as he is, this offense is going to be explosive. They were great last year. Now they're in year 2 with Mike McDaniel. Holy shit, 70 points. 70 freaking points. Yeah. Are you freaking kidding me? They can run the football with Mostert. They can do it all. The offensive line is good. The play calling is good.
Devin A-Chain.
I know,
Devin
my God.
A-Chain. I think he put up. I mean, if you're a fantasy guy out there, and I know everybody probably everybody that owns Devin A-Chain probably had him on your bench yesterday, which is a shame. That dude put up 52 fantasy points yesterday.
I know, my God.
Over 200 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, and you got Mostert, who's 31, who looks like he's like 5 or 6 years younger.
Yeah.
I mean, and the creativity, man. And then they bring in the backups against the Broncos ones, and Mike White's throwing 70-yard bombs to Robbie Chosen.
Who did Mike White play for last year?
The Jets.
The Jets. You think I could use Mike White back right now? Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. But before we get to the Mets, that's the Jets. The Dolphins look great, but I'm here to tell you, Tua won't last the season, and he's the whole deal. He's the whole deal for them. Like Mike White can play a little bit, but he ain't Tua. I just still don't think he's going to be durable enough. I don't. At some point, because I can tell you right now, if you're going to beat the Dolphins, the only way you're going to beat them is to pressure Tua and hopefully, bring the blitz and hopefully cover somebody and make a play. Because you sit back, he's going to carve you up. And all you got to do is you got, 40, maybe 40, 37, 40 plays. You get after the quarterback, get loose one time and pop him. And
here's the thing, though. The Miami and McDaniel, I'm here to tell you, I think McDaniel might be more of an offensive mastermind. I think he might have passed Shanahan. I think the things I see out of McDaniel, it truly is next-level stuff. Yep. And Tua, guess what? How do you counteract that, keeping him upright? he's getting the ball out quicker than any quarterback in the NFL through 3 games.
Yep.
And that
exactly.
right there is great coaching.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, we're going to take our first break. Dan Lucas from News Channel 8 is going to join us. We're going to get into some Bucs stuff. We'll get in a little bit of Rays as well, and I know he wants to talk about his Florida State Seminoles. So, and as do I, as does Nick. What a game in Clemson. That was an instant class. Quick break. Back with Dan Lucas coming up next. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
So you're experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this Monday as we get ready for Bucs and Eagles tonight. All the obnoxious Philly fans are filling up all the lunch spots in downtown Tampa today, and hopefully they'll be nice and liquored up by about 6:30. They'll all pass out and won't make it to the game. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Dan Lucas, News Channel 8, joining us here. What's up, Dano? How are you, buddy?
Boys, how are you doing? Nick, it's great to see you, man.
Yes, sir.
Little
Yes, sir.
appearance.
It's been a while.
I love it. I love it, brother. I love it. Yeah, I love the the Philly fans are everywhere. I was at my son's game yesterday, and there was a guy wearing a Donovan McNabb jersey, and I'm like, come on, man. Give me like if you're gonna do that and claim old school, whatever, just give me like a Harold Carmichael or something.
Yes.
Give me something cool.
Jaworski. Give me a Jaworski 7.
give me a Jerome Brown or a Wilbur Montgomery, Reggie White. Don't go McNabb.
Does that
Crying out
McNabb
loud.
jersey come with vomit on it from the Super Bowl?
It was
Remember that?
it was faded. It was faded, so I think he's washed it a lot. So maybe it did
Yeah.
have a lot of puke on it many times. Who
Yeah.
knows?
How do you see,
But-
how do you
but-
see this one tonight? How do you see it?
Oh man, I'm telling you, I was saying for days that the Bucs had a puncher's chance in this game. I think they've got a good chance now in this game based on the Bucs defense and all those questionable guys playing, which I'm presuming that like the Vita Vea is going to play.
Yeah.
I hope Carlton Davis gives it
They
a
need
go,
him.
see what he can do. I feel good about it. I do. I hadn't watched the Eagles much, to be honest with you, and just going through highlights of their game, particularly last week against Minnesota, the Vikings moved the football on them, and the Vikings got to Jalen Hurts, so he's been sacked, so that's attainable. They're a good offense still, especially with that little. I don't know what they call it, that little push thing they do when they
Oh
need
my
a
God.
yard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
by the
rugby
way,
scrum. Yeah.
yes, that every single football team down to the 10-year-old
Yes.
is now copying. But
Yeah.
I think I said this from the beginning: the Bucs defense, 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 all 17 games, and if the defense performs, they get a chance to win every single one of them.
And you mentioned the Vikings were able to move the ball, and Kirk Cousins nearly 400 yards against the Eagles. And this game right here, the Eagles are the number one team in the league at stopping the run, just 52 yards a game. So based on what you've seen with Baker Mayfield through 2 weeks, and he's the only quarterback to not turn it over through 2 weeks, by the way, which is outstanding. If they have to get into a track meet situation and Baker has to throw, if they have to get away from the game plan of the even run, even pass, do you think Baker's up for that challenge here after what you've seen through 2 weeks?
I do, just based on the fact that last week his escapability, I guess that's the big word,
Yeah.
just shone through. That's something they haven't had with the great Tom Brady here and all the great things he did. They did not have that. And there were a couple of scenarios last week. Well, just that one drive in the third quarter where he escaped the sack and then threw a sidearm ball to Cade Otton.
Yeah.
And then the fumble when it was punched out from David Wells, who dove onto it in the middle of the pile, Baker Mayfield.
Huge play.
That's two plays right there that don't happen in 2022. And talking to the offensive line last week, they have gotten used to the plays extending. And had a nice conversation with Robert Hainsey. And I said, well, what are the rules for you when this guy extends plays and he's 12 yards away from you? And he goes, well, it's kind of cliche. You're blocking through till you hear the whistle. But I notice when I see the defensive lineman doing this, looking for him, that the play is still active. And they've figured out that if the play doesn't go as planned, Baker's going to at least extend it and give the play a chance. So if everybody's on the same page in that sense, it's a good thing. And they might have to do that tonight because the Eagles' defensive line is A+. And they're going to be applying pressure for sure.
Yeah, I said this earlier. I think the Bucs have to be at least +1, probably +2 in turnovers to win this game. And they've been getting turnovers. They've been getting the strip sacks. They're knocking the ball loose. Isian's picking balls off. They've had a couple of – they should have 2 or 3 more interceptions than they already have. So they've been putting themselves in good opportunities. And as much as I like the Eagles' run blocking line, these guys are getting a little bit older, and I think they're a little susceptible to a quick pass rush, which the Bucs have been able to show. I wish Cansey was playing. I think he could be a difference maker in this game especially, but they've got a good rotation up front. And if Vita Vea can play and the rest of these guys get after it, that's the key to me. They got to get Jalen to throw it up a couple times and come down with it. What do you think?
I agree. Get pressure on him. That outside pass rush for the Bucs has really done well.
Yeah.
In the first 2 games. The thing that if you're going to knock the defense for anything, it's the early in the games. Receivers are getting theirs, and I don't think Justin Jefferson was a fair sample because he's one of the best. But DJ Moore, for instance, hits him early, and they were able to contain that eventually. That drive did wind up in a touchdown, though.
Yeah, good adjustments later, though.
So and that's, to me, that's Todd Bowles focusing on his defense only, and not having to stand over there and look over the shoulder of his offensive coordinator. I think it's been liberating to say the least, because I think Todd Bowles is a wonderful defensive coach, and it's shown through 2 games that But like I say, defense. It's going to have to be defense perfect to get through these games. I think all NFL games are now just tough in that way. That's the Cowboys yesterday, for crying out
Yeah, how
loud.
about that? Yeah.
And so it's. I think when the schedule came out, we're like, oh God, Eagles on a Monday night. Well, there's a loss. I don't think so necessarily.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten to it and the way the Bucs are playing, I think it's a very winnable game tonight on Rondé night.
Yes.
And my buddy in his McNabb jersey, he can relive his moment, and that comes on. It'll be awesome.
I love it. Is that a Florida State shirt you got on?
It is, my friend.
Damn right.
Yeah,
damn
you
right.
know what? The alumni, we're loyal. We did it. We sifted through the muck. I wore my shirt in the rough days, and I'm relishing this now. And you know what was great about Saturday? I'm sitting out. I wasn't really participating in social media, but I just loved the rationalizations from the folks up in South Carolina. Well, FSU this and FSU that. I'm like, you guys, like before the game, you guys were Clemson was gonna kill the Noles. Death Valley's back. The Noles injured Jordan Travis's shoulder, and I'm watching this game, and I'll tell you, it was a hell of a football game, and it was never one way or the other. No one was going to roll anybody. But give credit where it's due, for crying out loud. The Noles pulled it out and won in a tough environment. And so now in the aftermath, it's like, well, yeah, I had to go to overtime to beat Clemson. Yeah,
didn't have a kicker.
They're getting more first place votes, but they're dropping in the AP poll. So, that's what drives coaches nuts.
Yeah.
And they got in my opinion, I don't know if y'all agree or not, but they got the win neutral site convincingly against LSU.
Yes.
And then they have on the road against Clemson. And I don't care if you think Clemson's down or not. FSU only beat them once in like 10 meetings at Clemson, hadn't done it in like 7 years total.
Exactly.
Like FSU keeps dropping in the rankings, but like, do they not have the best resume so far? I don't get it.
It's a team that's still coming together, and
right.
So you brought the biggest name is obviously Coleman from the transfer portal, which is the way of college football nowadays.
Don't tell Dabo.
Yeah, that's a kudos to Mike Norvell and what they're doing there, utilizing it to their best, and having faith in Jordan Travis and the offensive line, which not long ago was just god awful. Has been pieced together into a very good O-line that's very effective. And I mean, are the Noles going to run the table? I don't know, but I think they're worthy of being in the discussion right now because of those wins you just mentioned, Nick. And the schedule will provide some proof coming up. Miami's obviously gotten into the top 25 and pretty legit.
Yeah.
And then on down the line, NC State
Duke.
always a pain in the arse for FSU. But like you said, they were exercising some demons against Clemson, and that was a big win. That was a big win. The Noles met at the paw after the game, so that was good to see.
Listen, I did a little post-game show with the guys from the Osceola, and we were, before we went on, we're all, doing our analyst hat and nitpicking like we were, back in the mid '90s, and I was like, you know what? In the end, no, guys, look, you went into Clemson, you hadn't won there in forever, as you mentioned, Nick. It was a hostile crowd. You were not at your best. Jordan was beat up. His shoulder was hurt. Yes. He hurt his finger, and he was inaccurate in the second half. He, passes that he doesn't usually miss, he was missing. They made some stupid calls. I think their play calling offensively down the stretch was just god awful. Not as bad as Clemson's in that situation where they're throwing the outside screen on 2nd and 1. What the F were they thinking? Oh my God. No, and look, Clemson made some stupid plays as well, and Dabo needs to stop pointing fingers at everybody else and take ownership as he throws his DC under the bus at halftime, yelling at his quarterback, making his 5th start for making a check at the line. Why are you allowing him to do a check with me in that situation? That's on you. That's coaching. So all that stuff, the Noles ran it for 22 yards, not good enough. But damn, you go in there and you can make a big play like you did, scoop and score. You win the freaking game. You stop them in overtime. You make plays. You made your kicks up, feel sorry for the kid with, the great story. Didn't end that way. Sorry. Felt sorry for him for about 10 seconds. That was about it. But look, you won the game. And Dan, what you said is exactly what I said after the show, after the game. Their best football is ahead of them. They looked at these first 4 games and said, we got to go out there and win these games. What we have right now, let's hang our hat on what we can do right now. Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson. But now you self-scout, you get Jaheim Bell into it, you get more Trey Benson into it, get more Tiafili, get Rodney Hill, that young fresh or sophomore tailback who can play. You got a couple of really good tight ends. You need expand this offense now even more, and you get better in this week off. You get healthy. Their defense has got to be better if they're going to win anything, of note. They've got to figure out what's going on that defense. They're leaving way too many guys wide open. They've got some young corners who are very talented that probably need to be playing over some other guys. So I think now it's on the coaching staff. If they're going to do something really special this year, now it's on the coaching staff to use this talent to what it can be, because it's a lot better than what we saw at Clemson, I think. And you still got the win. You played your C-plus game at Clemson and still got the win. There's a lot more in this football team.
I agree. And the challenge I always see in college sports, the big 2, football and basketball, and even down into the high school level, when you have team sports with young people, the hardest thing to do is to sustain success.
Yes.
And bring that hunger and that desperation when everybody's patting you on the back.
Yep.
That's the hardest thing to do. And we've seen Florida go through it. We saw Miami go through it in the heyday. When you go week 1, 2, 3, and on and get late in the season and you're banged up and hurting and everybody just absolutely wants to kill you, can you muster that desperation and not think you're just going to waltz out there and win? That's where we've seen the downfall of many teams, not just FSU. And as we now know, the college football playoff does it's the proof is there in the playoff. You will be found out if you're really not that elite, because some of these semifinal games weed that out, shall we say. So get into the playoff and then we'll find out what you're really made of. But it's a tough road. And like you said, you even mentioned Duke.
Yep. They can play.
Duke. Yeah, it's been a while since Duke's been at this level. They've had a couple of eras that were that competitive. Spurrier, obviously, that level was really great, but they've had some good runs, and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough down the road for sure.
Yeah, I feel like one more thing on college football, if I may. I feel like we have to mention USF today, because we talked a lot about them in Alabama last week, and we were like, okay, but what's the follow-up going to be? Can you build off on that? And they go out there and lay a 40 spot on Rice. And Byron Brown has one of the best games I think I've ever seen from a USF quarterback. And now all of a sudden they're 2-2. They just proved they can beat teams in this new look AAC, which is not great at all.
Right.
Am I getting ahead of myself, Dan, and UJP as well? I think USF is a sneaky player in this conference this year. Are y'all ready to get there yet?
I agree 100%. And the thing I loved about the game against Rice was they were down on a couple of occasions. They had to, respond to being punched in the face.
Yep.
And those are in recent years. When that would happen, and USF would completely fall apart.
Yeah,
meltdown. I think we saw a little bit of that in the fourth quarter of the Western Kentucky game to start the season, where the USF's going toe to toe. Then a couple of things happen, and the game gets lopsided. But they came back with belief. I think this Alabama game, all respect to Mike Golish and his outlook, or Alex Golish and his outlook. The Alabama game is going to fuel this team all season long, because they know they belong in that football field. That, to me, I said it before the game that USF was playing with house money in that game. Sell out, do it, do what you can, beat the point spread. And just show yourself on TV. It was everything that I thought it could be. I know they wanted to win. It would have been cool to see, but they're going to feed off of that for weeks.
I agree, and I was watching that game with kind of amazement, and I was like, "Oh, Rice, comes back," and they went down the field. I'm like, "All right, now this is where USF turns it over, gets a pick six or something, and then we look up and it's 47-30, and they're out of the game." And it went the other way. And that offense, man, I tell you what, that is relentless. It just keeps coming at you and keeps coming at you. And I thought, defensively, obviously they gave up points and yards. But you know what they do? They make plays. They hit you with. They got a couple of guys on that defensive side now that hit you in the mouth and can get after you from a pass rush. I see athletes on defense like now. I haven't seen that in 3 years at USF. I mean, they're just you just push right through them. It's ridiculous, and they give up chunks. I get it, but they will come back and hit you, and their defense is good enough to hold other teams now where their offense is going to score 40 a game. And the one thing that Golish said last week that you saw this week is their other receivers, not just 38 Adkins, right? That kid he's going to have 25 targets a game and get 12 to 15 catches, for 77 yards all year long. But the outside guys now are making plays. And he said, we got some talented guys. They just haven't figured it out yet. They're starting to figure it out. And Byron Brown, that kid's 12 years old? Maybe 13 now. I mean, he's so young, but he can play. I like the way he stands in the pocket. He's got some moxie. He can run. Yeah, I was like, Rice ain't they ain't world beaters, but that it was an impressive win to me the way they did it. I'm very
and watch as this goes on, JP. Alex Golish at Tennessee was known for having the next play called before the whistle was blown. Basically, on the previous play, they worked faster. It was just so high paced that teams couldn't respond. As a matter of fact, there were times where Tennessee had to kind of pause so they could substitute.
Yeah.
But Golish was getting those calls in so fast. And when he first was hired, I asked him, I go, well, you're going to do the same thing here. And he says, you got to be very careful about that because, not everybody is ready for that. And I think his point was, when I get my guys in place and we get more confidence in the offense and we get more repetitions, and we damn well better be going faster. I think we're going to start seeing that from USF. And like you said, I think it's going to be a very potent offense here down the stretch. And no matter what the defense does, and the defense is pretty good. So, I'm definitely excited about the upcoming games for USF. And people are watching. Everybody watch that Alabama game I'm talking about not only recruits, but guys who are in a situation where they might want to hit the portal and look for a team. And when the playoff expands and the American champion, I believe, has a seat at the table, I'd be licking my chops.
Yeah.
If I had a chance to, I can go to USF, I can get into the playoff.
Yeah.
That's pretty enticing, if you ask me.
I agree.
Pretty enticing.
100%. Yeah. All right, big announcement last week. If you read the paper, this whole Rays thing is done. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. I haven't seen a
shovel in the ground yet.
I haven't seen a number on a page yet either. I haven't seen the financial deal. Has that been presented to the city commission? Has it been presented to the county commission? Now, I've seen the numbers, the $300 million from each, but how is that? Where's that coming from? How does the deal work? Who's getting land rights? There's a lot of stuff that I need to know. And, I know I'm a little bit more invested in this than maybe most, but I don't trust Stu. I don't trust him for a second. And this deal to me it's got a lot of question marks. Listen, I hope a stadium gets built at some point. I'm tired of talking about it, but I think this is a horrible mistake for the area. It's a failed location. I don't care how many restaurants you put around it. It doesn't change the fact it takes 45 minutes to an hour and a half for most people in this market. I mean, most people to get there during the week, and that ain't going to change. So your thoughts on this whole deal?
I was surprised to see it come to fruition there. I thought that particular, that rendition and the plans for that area were kind of used as a leverage tactic to get into better negotiations in the Tampa side. But to your point, I don't know how many years ago it was. Remember when we thought the Ebor thing was official?
Yeah.
And as quickly as it was announced and the fancy pictures and everybody fell in love with the thing, it was over.
Yep.
I don't know where this is going to go, but it wouldn't shock me if we wake up one day and it's nixed. And they're out of time. Even the timeline of this project, if it starts on time, is putting them beyond their lease.
Yeah.
To at least get that ballpark built. The concept, I'm with you on the travel time across the bay from areas, New Tampa, Brandon area, Plant City, even Lakeland. those are areas that are now considering going to ball games if it's on the other side.
Yeah.
I do like the concept that they have around it. It reminds me a lot of what they did with the Nationals ballpark.
Yeah.
Building it, they built it down by the Navy Yards, just a crappy area, and they just built up all around. It's so beautiful there now. It's like it's kind of like it's the place to be. I guess that's what they turned it into. The place to
Yeah.
be. Maybe that's the goal here. Make it the place to be. And if you have so many people living in condos or whatever, maybe that's 2,000 more fans a night. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I just want it to work.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just tired of the perception they're moving. That's what I'm tired of.
That was never going to happen. It's a false narrative. Major League Baseball was never going to leave the 11th largest market. The national TV contracts are based on that. The other owners were not going to give up a Nashville market or a Charlotte market where they can get $2 billion in expansion fees and allow the Rays to move there and leave this huge market untapped. That was never going to happen. Orlando is a joke. That was something that was fabricated by Stu. That was never. They got no money. They got no public support. They got no owner there ready to put up a $1 billion expansion fee or relocation fee. So that was a joke. It was all fabricated. They weren't going anywhere. And that's what I hate about this, because everybody who's for this goes, well, at least they're staying. Well, they weren't leaving anyway. They weren't going anywhere. Stu can't pick it up and move it. It doesn't work that way. All the other owners have to agree, and they were never going to agree. So that's why I think this is getting pushed through really, really quick, because also the lawsuit, which, by the way, can News Channel 8 do some reporting on that, please? Not the sports department, but there's a huge lawsuit. The St. Pete is going to give $600 million of public money to a guy who allegedly defrauded his partners grotesquely. Have you guys done any stories on this? Don't you think it's kind of the media's job to probably dig into that story a little bit now that it's gone back, now that an appellate judge has put it back to a jury trial, and now there's going to be depositions and discovery, and it's all public record now? Anybody? I know Mr. Andrews is gone. Any other reporters over there want any interest in this whatsoever?
It's definitely a topic of curiosity that's worth exploring for sure. And I do remember when that first came out. Was it the Times that kind of led the way on it?
The Times did not. The Times did not even report on this. It's the Tampa Bay Business Journal.
I feel like if it's shoved aside,
yeah,
that we tend to follow sometimes, like, oh well, this must not be a big deal. There's not much legwork done individually. I think that's on everybody, to step up. Everybody's got investigators. Everybody's got business responsibilities or business angles they look for. It's worth digging. It takes time, though. It takes time. we live in an era. We live in an era where it's like, what, you want to take a week to investigate something?
Oh my God!
I need something by 4:00.
Right. A sewer pipe broke over on Hillsborough Ave. Go get me a live shot.
I need.
Sorry. My bad.
Just turn into journalism class with Dan and JP.
I'm sorry. Hey, I ran into Don North's daughter the other day, and I said,
dying art.
I haven't seen Don in a long time. Tell him I said hello. Our old news director. That's right. Anyway, we got off the rails here. All right, what about the Rays on the field? Give me something on the Rays on the field. They're playing like little leaguers last night, running into outs. It's I don't have a good feeling about this postseason.
I'm watching the body language of Kevin Cash these last few days, and I don't like it. Yeah. And I'm not saying the guy's giving up, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
With your resources. Yes. And when he's out of ideas, it's gone to crap. So I watch him. Yandy Diaz hustles to first yesterday. Boom, he's got the trainers out looking at him. Hobbles around to score the first run of the game yesterday. He comes across home plate, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a hamstring. We all know what happens with hamstrings.
Yeah.
Apparently, Randy Arozarena is ready to try and come back tomorrow, so that's a good thing. But these are the names that have been sustaining throughout all the pitching injuries and the other various injuries. you've had this list of guys, the old count on guys, and now they're starting to break down. And it's just, and what I don't like about it is they're going to go to Boston for 2 games. You know, they'll do whatever they do. When they go to Toronto for the last 3, that is going to be an absolute hornet's nest. The Blue Jays, for the Blue Jays fans this time of year are all in, and they are fighting themselves for a good wild card position. And they're doing what the championship baseball teams do in September. They're surging upwards. So it's going to be tough. Personally, 2.5 out. Baltimore has a game in hand and a tiebreaker. The Rays have 5 to go. I think we see the writing on the wall. This is a wild card. And so you got to figure out who you can get for game 1 and 2 for sure at the Trop to give yourself a chance to get through that series. And then I believe you're just playing to get to Baltimore, right? In the division series, presuming the Orioles win the division. So this is tough sledding, and it becomes one of those situations where you're trying to out-hit your problems, and they don't have the firepower. They're just not hitting consistently to get it done. But not to change gears on you, I'll stay. But the Lightning in training camp, this news of Vasilevsky nursing some type of ailment. That was kind of presented yesterday as, Vazzy's not practicing today. I'm like, wait a minute. Their first preseason game's tomorrow. Not that Vazzy would be logging minutes in that game. But opening day is right around the corner, and goaltenders, kind of along the hamstring line, whatever his injury is, when they have something that's a little nick, that's months. So that's alarming to me. Alarming.
For the beginning of the year, maybe they're just being super cautious, but
possibly.
He said he didn't do a whole lot in the offseason, which is very unlike Vassy, but maybe something that he needed from a mental standpoint. So, but physically, it's early. We got a long way to go. I'd much rather have him, ready in March and April than now. So take all the time you need, Vassy. Go play with your cat. Go play with your cat.
I agree, but I think that if you're not going to win the Atlantic, you got to finish ahead of Toronto.
Yes.
I think that we learned it does. I think the home ice does matter. To try and get those first 2 games at home, and then set it up to where you're getting that last change in the game 5 and game 7. That's just me. It's just my opinion, but we'll see.
All right, Luke. Always great to visit with you, my friend. Thank you for your time. I'll see you you going to the game tonight? You'll be in the press box?
I'll be up there. You'll find me at the buffet.
See you at Bananas Foster at halftime for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. All right, guys.
I'll have a little extra liquor in mine, please. All right.
So set it on fire. Yes.
Thanks, Dano. Appreciate it. The great Dan Lucas.
Boys.
You can find him on Twitter at WFLA Dan. Great follow there. All right. Gonna do another quick break here. We'll come back. You ready to go another hour, Nick? What do you want to do? You got work to do?
No, I'm good. We can go a little bit. We can get into the Rays a little bit. I definitely have some thoughts on the Rays. And
we got a lot more college football to talk about too.
Right.
We got to talk about Dion. We got to talk about Ohio State and Notre Dame, the end of that game. Oh, my God. And a lot more NFL to talk about. So lots more to get to. We'll do it here in the second hour. Stay with us. Quick break. Back in 3.
Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Well, Fitz, the mortgage guy, did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sport.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Always nice to chat up Dan Lucas there. By the way, we'll be at the patio tonight for our second show. We'll be there from 4 to 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30, and then head on over to the Buccaneers game. So if you're looking for a little pre-party, why not come over and enjoy the night with us at the patio, 421 South McDill. We are presented by White Claw. So you get $4 White Claw seltzers, $4 White Claw vodka drinks. Where do you find a $4 drink anymore? I can't find a $4 drink. Everywhere you go, it's a $10 drink just for a cocktail. And the prices are great. It's not a stuffy sports bar at the patio. Great outdoor space beneath the palm trees and the stars. Going to be a great vibe tonight to watch the game. Going to be a beautiful night. So come on, enjoy the great outdoors. And they got an indoor spot there as well, so don't worry. But it's fun. It's the patio. Come on out and join us. I'll have some T-shirts for you, some Rays T-shirts, some Bucs T-shirts if you come on over and say hello and join us. Nick, have you been to the patio?
I have not been to the patio.
Oh, you got to come on out.
No.
Yeah,
but I was gonna say this because you mentioned where can you get a $4 a drink at, and I won't rat out the place, but on Saturday, me and my friends, because it was the greatest college football slate of the year probably
ever,
we went out. We had a nice little kind of drinking day in downtown Tampa, hopping around a little bit, watching all the games. We went back into another bar, and this was after the happy hour was over, right? And we were like, let's go get in and let's get 2 shots, and then we'll go home. We walked in, ordered 4 shots, and the guy put the bill in front of us. It was $60 for 4 shots.
What, 4 shots of what?
Goldschlager? A lemon drop.
A lemon drop?
A lemon drop. $14
for $15 a pop?
Yeah, $15 a pop. I won't say the place, but don't
rat them out. I don't know. It's all, listen, it's every place. It's every place now, except the patio. That's what I'm telling you. It's like you go in there and they're not going to soak you for, like everywhere you go and get an IPA now, it's $9. Not at the patio. It's ridiculous. I mean, and prices are just crazy now. We were at a place in Tin Roof in Orlando this weekend. And we get there for happy hour. In the happy hour drinks, like, hey, $8 for a happy hour drink. Woo! I'm like, well, what's the regular price? She's like $12.
That's the happy hour?
Yeah, the happy hour price was $8. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we had a really good band, by the way. It was their Sorcerer or something doing some covers, man. They were fantastic. Really good. I love live music over here on the Orlando side, Winter Garden side. is really, really good. I'm still looking for some great live music places in Tampa and St. Pete. I know there's a place in downtown St. Pete, starts with an R, that's really good for live music. Downtown St. Pete seems to have a lot better live music than downtown Tampa. Like it's really like downtown Tampa, it seems like it's all DJs, right? And that's great, but I'm a much better. Give me a live music band. These guys that were playing in Orlando, I mean, they were playing Led Zeppelin, Whitney Houston. They were doing all these different like every so eclectic, everything you could think of under the sun, but putting their spin on it, and they were really, really good. And I love that vibe.
And I maintain, by the way, again, we've said it, the downtown St. Pete atmosphere, if you're looking to do drinking, whether it's the day or the night, far superior than anything you're going to do in downtown Tampa. In downtown Tampa, it's gotten a little better. Like the place we went to was like 5116 Manhattan, a really new place that they told us that it's one of those Barstool type bars that they partnered
really?
with.
What's it
so
called?
It was really 511 Manhattan, I want to say, or Franklin, 511 Franklin. It's right around the corner from the Eddie and Sam's. That was the place. And then we were hopping around to like Gen X Tavern. But the thing is, you kind of got to walk.
Bar. Yeah.
You got to kind of walk, it's not nothing. Whereas St. Pete, they have that one strip where it's just
Central
bar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Downtown Tampa's getting better. They got American Social, which is always a great place to watch FSU games. That's a cool vibe for FSU games. Whereas some of the other, obviously Hat Tricks is the gold standard, still the best.
Right.
I mean, their prices aren't stupid, like some other places, and it's always got a great vibe. And Hat Tricks, I love in downtown Tampa Hat Tricks. But then, I mean, for walk the American Social to Hat Tricks is like, it's like a half a mile. It ain't, I get the scooters.
When you're drinking, walking is not exactly a great thing to be doing. By the way,
you're not jumping on the scooter. You're not jumping on the scooter.
I don't think it was a good idea to operate a motor vehicle. I just would be honest with you. But by the way, Richie said it was Ruby's Elixir is the place you were looking for.
Ruby's Elixir, yeah. That's where I got COVID. Yeah, never forget that. That was great. And yeah, our whole group did. That was fun. But we were fine. Nobody. Yeah, it just is what it is. Thomas says, I want to believe you, but I had not seen any more comments from the commish about the latest comments he made about being closer to Tampa. Yeah, have you seen Manfred say anything?
No, but I could have swore it might have been mentioned in the Times article, if I have this right, that Manfred, I think, approved like this whole thing already. And I don't think he came out publicly with it, but I think they got that assurance from him before they went ahead with this.
Did they?
Yeah, I believe so. And again, Manfred was there at the Trop, remember, like 3 weeks ago, a month ago?
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they presented it to him in person. I don't know. But I could have sworn I saw that in the Times article.
Well, call me skeptical. If you're the commissioner of baseball and you're going to approve it, why wouldn't you put out a statement? And did I miss it? Was there a statement by the commissioner?
Well, again, when it comes to getting a ballpark, everything that's going on with the A's and Oakland and Las Vegas, that to me seems to be, on the perception, that's like the number one thing for them. They're a lot more concerned about what's going on in Oakland, and I will say rightfully so, than what's going on over here in Tampa Bay.
Well, the Vegas deal is done, right?
I think so, right? I mean, I think they still got to go through all these county commissioner things, maybe. I don't know, because, I mean, again, there's no shovels in the ground yet. So, I mean, I think that's the general rule. Until you see a shovel in the ground, nothing is ever completely done.
Yeah. I mean, there hasn't been a vote on it yet.
Yeah. But I will say, though,
yeah, this is all. Rays, I mean, when you Google Rob Manfred Rays Stadium, it's all old stuff.
Right. There hasn't been anything new in the public, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know.
So, but isn't that a little bizarre? Like, wouldn't there be a major statement made?
But I've always felt like that, though. We said this when we were talking about it, throughout the last couple of years. It doesn't seem like Rob Manfred's quotes about the Rays when he's asked. It's never anything like to me, his quotes about Oakland are much more like firm. And in Tampa, it's pretty wishy-washy, I've always felt. And it doesn't get the pub, I think, that the Oakland situation does.
Well, I just think if this was, done and it was a done deal,
right.
that with as long as this has been a thorn in the side of Major League Baseball and the commissioner especially, I think he would be, as I love to say, farting confetti and putting out a big statement on like we're closed, blah 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 blah, and I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
So
I will say I did want to give a golf clap to Rays fans, and I'll include the Rays in there as well because yesterday was the final home game of the year, and they put just under 23,000, I believe, in there. They ended the attendance well over 1 million for the year. 17 and change, I think, was the average attendance, which is the highest that it's been since 2014.
That's
I
up
want to
30%. Yeah.
So, again, golf clap for the Rays fans for doing your part, and also to the Rays for, the specials they offered. It clearly worked. They had an enjoyable product. So I think that was a good thing.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you Google Bob Manfred. I haven't seen anything. Maybe we'll see. And on the field, we had Smoltz on Friday. John Smoltz, Hall of Famer, and he just to paraphrase, just doesn't see the firepower. But he kind of said, you never know with these Rays; they always come up with something.
Right.
This feels a lot like last year, limping into the postseason. The offense isn't clicking. And listen, to me, the biggest red flag for me is that Glasnow and Savali and Eflin have not stepped up in the last 2 weeks. They've had key moments where they needed big performances, and they for the most part they have underwhelmed tremendously. And that bullpen and those three starters, if you're going to do anything in the postseason, they have to be great, not good. They have to be great. And I haven't seen it. And now you've got 3 rookies in the lineup yesterday. Keystone Cops on the base paths, inside the park home run for Springer. I mean, that's more luck than anything else, but I just don't feel it.
I just feel like even the most optimistic Rays fan has to have some level of concern, right? And I have a lot of concern, quite frankly, at this moment. And again, it's nothing that they've done wrong. It's stuff that's it's been out of their control. I mean, you can't control injuries, right? And here's the thing that just boggles the mind. The Rays take care of their players probably more so than any other team in the league. They get guys off their feet. They give a lot of rest days, things like that. They don't overwork these guys. And then you look at a team like Atlanta, who wire to wire has been the best team in the league for the most part of the season. And they have like 3 or 4 guys who haven't sat out a single game this year. They just put their best 9 out there every single day, and they don't get injured. And I think that's not that you're wishing for injuries or anything, but that's the part that just doesn't add up. It's why do the Rays, the team that takes care of their players more than anybody else, gets hit with the injury bug more so than anybody? And I mean, we already knew when the Wander stuff happened and you knew you weren't going to have him, it was already going to be an uphill battle. Thought they could piece it together a little bit, but now you add in the fact that Brandon Lau's not going to be there. And again, Brandon Lau has not been the postseason performer that anybody needs him to be, let's be honest. But at the same time, he's been written really, really good down the stretch here. Ever since the All-Star break, he's really turned it around, got himself to 20 home runs. And, Randy, the second half of the season has not been nearly the same as the Randy from the first half of the season. I mean, you really had one guy that's been as consistent in that lineup all year, and that's Yandy Diaz. And then Isak Paredes as well. By the way, I said 30 home runs. He hit his 30th yesterday. There we go. He's chasing 30 and 100. Mm-hmm. Josh Lowe's picked it up. But outside of those 3 guys, who can you count on consistently right now in this lineup? You mentioned it. You got a lot of rookies in this lineup right now. Basabi, I think everything's worn off there. He's starting to hit his rookie wall right now, which it was expected. Mm-hmm. Curtis Mead, I'm seeing good things out of him. But then you go to Jonathan Aranda. This was supposed to be his opportunity, man. I'm disappointed.
He can't handle major league velocity.
He can't hit
that is
fastballs.
Not quick enough. Yeah.
If you can't hit major league fastballs, right now I got no time for him. But again, Junior Caminero came up. I laud the Rays for doing this because this is all hands on deck. The Rays are all in. They have to be all in. This is all hands on deck. But can he get going? You're kind of waiting for him to get on a hot streak here. It's hard to ask from a guy who's 20 years old that's never played AAA ball. But
seems like a desperation shot.
It is, but I did think it was the right move.
Yeah, no, why not? At this point, you got, you hope you find a Randy Arozarena in October. That doesn't come along very often, like never. It's a once in a lifetime. And, maybe Caminero's got the ability. I mean, clearly he has, the physical ability, but you don't know if it's going to translate into, major league pitching. And in the fact
Yeah.
that they've never seen him, major league pitchers have never seen him, maybe he gets hot. I think it's the only shot you got for them to go deep into the playoffs, because nothing else is trending their way. So
it's a shame. It really is a shame.
Yeah.
And like Dan said, I agree completely. I think Kevin Cash has gotten to a point where he's like, listen, I might be the best manager in baseball, or y'all might tell me that, but like at some point, there's only so much I can do, right? And I know everybody gets on to him for managing the bullpen and all that, whatever. He's in a tough spot right now. He's been trying to, the outside shot of winning the division. I think that's over with. I think at this point, you have a 9.5 game lead in the wild card. You're going to have the home series there probably against Toronto, so that's settled. If Yandy Diaz can't play, I wouldn't touch him. I truly wouldn't touch him for the final 5 games. Why do it? If Randy can't get in there,
you're not winning the division.
You're not going to win the division. If anything, these young guys, clearly they're going to have to rely on them. So get them as many reps as they can, get them going. The pitching, you mentioned, I think Eflin has been the consistent. He's been the Charlie Morton of this season. But Glasnow, what's happened to him in the last 4 or 5 outings? Hasn't been sharp.
No.
Taj Bradley, I think, has proven that I don't even know if he's going to be on the playoff roster. I think he's just right now. Taj Bradley is a disaster waiting to happen every time he's out there. And then you have Zach Littell, who's quietly been doing it, and Savale just hasn't impressed me, quite frankly, outside of like an outing or two since they got him at the deadline. So you got concerns with the starting pitching, you got concerns with the lineup, the bullpen. Jason Adam looks like he's probably done. Fairbanks has had a few miscues lately. So now is the bullpen. I mean, there's too many question marks here. Bottom line, I can go through the entire thing. There's too many question marks for this Rays team for me to have confidence that they're going to win in October. And that's a shame, because it really does come down to injuries here.
Yeah. And it just seems like they never have the depth, to get through this part of the season. And it is a shame. Look at this team, how they started and the rotation they had and where they're at right now. Baseball's a long season. That's why, these higher payrolls, when you got more depth in your team, you can withstand it. And the Rays never have the depth to withstand it. They got to go to young players, and typically young players don't perform in October. So here we are. And it seems like, this will be a season just like last year, where you have so much promise and then you get to the playoffs and it's a complete dud. So unfortunately, I think that's where we're headed. So we shall see. All right. Let's take one more break, and then we'll come back. We'll finish up with college football and NFL football because there was a lot that happened this weekend that we got to get to. And we talked a little bit about FSU, but there's more to get to. Quick break. We'll be back. JP Peterson, Nick Gaddis, JP Peterson Show. Stay with us.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we get set for Monday Night Football tonight. Don't forget to come join us at the patio from 4 to up until game time. We'll be doing a live remote there, so come on down and join us. We'll have some T-shirts for you. Just come on up and say something to the effect of the Bucs are going to whip the Eagles' ass, and we'll give you a free T-shirt. So we'll be there, and we're presented by White Claw, $4 White Claw seltzers, $4 White Claw vodka drinks. We'll have $1 off beer and wine, so a lot more specials as well. So get there early, get your table, get your spot, get your bar spot, and it's going to be a great vibe tonight watching Monday Night Football. We'll also be doing a post-game show afterwards from the field, myself and Peter Blake. So big day for the Bucs as they take on the Eagles, get this win, and it is an absolute program maker. By the way, we got a ticket deal for you. If you go to ticketsmarter.com, I just checked, you can, the upper level tickets, Nick, guess how much? $192 for upper level seats. But you get $20 off if you use the code FanStream20. So there you go. FanStream20, ticketsmarter.com, and you'll get $20 off your first order there. So that's an expensive ticket. I ain't gonna lie, but it should be a packed house tonight. I don't know how many Philly fans are going to be in the house at $192 for an upper level ticket. I wonder what the lower level ones are going for. To check that out. Are you there, Nick? Can you hear me? Nick Geddes, are you there? Nick, can you hear me? I can't hear me right. I don't know what the hell happened. Anyway, jump back out and jump back in, Nick. I'll take you out. And then come back in. We'll see if we can get Nick back. Are you there, Nick? Earth to Nick. Nick, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Maybe not. Stand by for we can get him back here. Anyway, we'll go to the comments until we can get Nick back. From Lonnie Wilkins, that McDonald's in Madeira on the water sounds cool, but I stopped in and it was all homeless beach squatters. Shocking development right there. Royal Rumble determines the location of the new stadium. Then it's getting built in Pinellas Park next to the Walmart on US 19. God, I hope not. Lonnie Wilkins saying Glass now, when he needs to step up, almost always craps the bed and goes 5 at most. Yeah, we've seen him in the post game and has not in the postseason and has not been good. Needs to be better. If he can't step up, they got absolutely zero shot, said Captain Obvious. Lonnie Wilkins, I'm at the point of fingers at the training staff here for the Rays. Do they have a normal amount of injuries compared to other teams? It certainly seems so. But you know what it is? I think more than anything, it's the field. It's the trop. It's the wear and tear that it puts on your legs is, we've heard We've heard guys talk about it a lot, and especially guys that come in here from other teams. Kyle Tucker has told me when he plays at the Trop, he's got to spend about 20, 30 minutes after the game with ice packs on his knees. And so a lot of these position players hate playing at the Trop. How much of that, how much of that was a part and parcel to Wander's issues early on with his hamstring and quads. I think it's significant, and they need to get something. Obviously, that doesn't have anything to do with the Tommy John injuries, but it the other stuff it certainly can't help. Ick, are you there? This is what happens, folks, in technology as we are today. We will. We'll tell you what. We will take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll get his audio situation straightened out, hopefully, and we'll hit the rest of the NFL and college football. So, quick break, 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Hopefully we have Nick back. Are you back, Nick? I guess not. Nick, are you back? You can't hear me. Can't hear me. I am back. Can you guys hear me out there? Lonnie Wilkins, can you guys hear me? Sorry about the technical difficulties here, guy. Everything was working fine. I didn't change a thing. Everything's everything's perfect. So if you guys can hear me, we'll finish out with some college football and some NFL. But evidently, Nick cannot hear me, so we'll soldier on. Some week 3 reactions and overreactions. First of all, you saw the what the Miami Dolphins were able to do, 70 points against the hapless Broncos. I tell you what, I thought Denver would be a much better football team than they are with Sean Payton. And maybe it's going to take a while for him to get his guys on the same page. But, man, that was an ass kicking. That was the first 70-point game since Washington scored 72 against the New York Giants in 1966. The Dolphins are averaging 43 points per game and over 550 yards. Both would be NFL records. Obviously, that's not going to keep up. They had 726 yards of offense before taking a knee. They could have equaled the 73-point record in the NFL. They were at the Broncos' 27-yard line, but unlike the Rams last week, who took money out of my pocket, they decided not to kick a field goal. And, of course, Miami did this without Jalen Waddle. I don't think they'll be able to sustain this, but they're clicking on all cylinders. Teams will see what they're doing and start taking a few of these things today. But, I mean, imagine what they're going to be like with Waddle when Waddle comes back. Pretty spectacular stuff. The Cardinals, and if you can hear me, Nick, jump in here at any time. The Cardinals take a huge lead on the Dallas Cowboys and go on to beat the Cowboys. And your question is this the same old Cowboys? I think their defense is really good. But you start reading your press clippings in any league, and this is what's going to happen to you. And I think the Cardinals are sneaky. They're sneaky good. They've got some good young players, and Josh Dobbs has been really, really interesting. And they're just different than I expected. And I think maybe, you take a Kyler Murray out of the conversation. And I think, I don't know if he's the most popular guy in that locker room, to be quite honest. Josh Dobbs comes in, is making smart plays, and is as athletic as most any quarterback in the league. That kid can play. Dak Prescott was not good. Throws an interception in the end zone with 3:05 left. He was 25 of 40, 249 yards and a touchdown and interception for a 78 rating. Dallas managed just one touchdown against that Arizona defense. That was an eye opener. But Dallas gonna Dallas, and this was not good. Of course, now this is the first game they play without Trayvon Diggs, Tyler Biadasz, and Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith. But I don't think he played either. So that's look around the league. You get this many injuries to a team, you're going to have some issues. Nick, I think we can hear you now.
Yeah, y'all should be able to hear me okay here. Sorry about the AirPods quit on me there, so I charged them a little bit there. So hopefully I got enough juice to make it to the end. But no, I was listening to you talk about Dallas. I think, in this league, if you don't show up every single week, what do they always say? Anybody can beat you.
Yeah.
This is the NFL. And listen, the Cardinals, they should have won probably against Washington in week 1.
Yeah.
They should have won against the Giants in week 2. This doesn't look like a team that's tanking. Although I had the suspicion the owner ordered the code red against New York. I did have the suspicision there, because I don't know how in the world you could blow a 28-0 lead.
Yeah, that was interesting, because they pretty much, the ownership has tried to tank this season, but the players and the coaches are like, yeah, sorry, we're not doing that. Which is why you don't tank, by the way, folks.
Exactly, because you never know. But I will say, though, not acting like Arizona's a great team or anything, but at least offensively. Defensively, they got issues. But offensively, I mean, they got James Conner. He's been a solid back for, 6-7 years.
Really
Marquise
good.
Brown's a good receiver. Rondell Moore. Zach Ertz has been around a time or two.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like completely inept on the offensive side of the ball. They have players, right? And those are veteran players. You think they want to just throw in the towel on the season?
No.
Hell no. You think Gannon wants to do that? He was just coaching in a Super Bowl last year. Hell no. So it just happens. In Dallas, it was a perfect storm. You mentioned it. Dallas was missing most of their offensive line. I don't think that this was the first game where Dallas actually had to ask Dak Prescott to go win us a game. They didn't have to use him in week 1. Week 2 was the same story. And what did Dak do? He turned into a pumpkin.
Yep.
This time, though, it was in September. A little ahead of schedule there for Dak Prescott. But that's where I think what I saw yesterday. And, Dallas is not this – and Trayvon Diggs not there either. Their defense looked completely different.
Yep.
Allowed Arizona to score 27, 28 on him or whatever it was. So I thought it was just a perfect storm for Arizona, truthfully.
Yeah, like we say all the time, this is a week-to-week league, and when you're missing that many offensive linemen, it's a different deal. It's a totally different deal. 1 or 2 injuries can change the balance in a game where the matchups aren't good for one team or another, and I think that's what we saw. But again, when you're, I've always been a Dak Prescott fan. I think he's, when you got a decent running, he's one of those quarterbacks. When you got a decent running game, you got some talent on the outside, the offense is going to hum like it did last year. They were pretty good. Now he throws a couple too many picks, and but when you need a guy to go out and win a game, like you said, he just hasn't been able to do that. And when you're paying a guy $40 million a year, you should have that ability to go out and win a game when your team's not at its best. That's why you're supposed to get that kind of franchise quarterback money. And we didn't see it. We haven't seen a lot of it. So the Lions beat the Falcons. This is, if the Bucs can go to 3-0 with everybody else in the division losing, that's another big deal as well, right? The Saints blow a 17-0 lead. How about we'll get to that in a second. But I want to mention the Lions, who shut down the Falcons running game 20-6. They get the win. And Aiden Hutchinson was a beast. And he's got 18 pressures, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and 2 passes batted down through 3 games, and a 15.1% pressure rate. And that's one of the best in the league. And he was just all over Desmond Ridder, and the Falcons just couldn't get anything going. They just could not. That was interesting. I thought I had the Falcons in the points in that one, and didn't even come close.
Yeah, I thought Ridder showed me something, the way he battled back at home against Green Bay last week. And I was thinking, watching that game, I'm like, Ridder's just, I know they're winning games with him, but like, it seems like a lot of things got to go right. And again, in that game, you need your quarterback to make plays for you. And Desmond Ridder, at least right now, is just unfit to do that. And I think Atlanta has a really good roster, but they're not maximizing it. And I think a lot of it has to do, at least offensively, is because of who's to play in the quarterback position. I mean, they still can't figure out a way to get Kyle Pitts involved into the game, which is a shame.
I don't get it.
Arthur Smith just can't figure that out, or him and Ridder aren't on the same page. I don't know, but Kyle Pitts is just a bystander at the moment. Drake London's like hit or miss of what you're going to get. So I don't know. Atlanta, to me, I just don't think they're going to be able to hold up all of a sudden. I know the defense is much more improved. Jesse Bates has like 4 picks through 3 games. Great acquisition there. But I don't think they can hold up. And Detroit, you knew they were going to bounce back. I love Jared Goff. I know he had the pick, but Detroit looks like one of the best teams in the NFC still. So I'm not all that surprised by that. But yeah, to your point, the NFC, the Saints go down as well. And that's who the Bucs are going to see next week without Derek Carr.
That's right. Here comes Jameis Winston, right? Derek Carr looks like he's got a shoulder injury. They were up 17-0 when he left the game. Jameis comes in, goes 10 for 16 for 101 yards, but they punted on their first 4 possessions, gained just 69 yards during that span, and the Packers came back to take the lead, getting a 2-point conversion, by the way. Now, Jameis did lead them on a drive to set up Blake Grupe for a 46-yard field goal. He hits that. What's the narrative? Jameis gets a comeback win. He was 4 for 6 on a drive for 45 yards. You get him a 46-yard kick. That should be a 75-80% chance of a win right there. And
right.
The rookie missed it. So what's the narrative if Jameis comes in and, quote, gets the fourth quarter comeback as we, if the Bucs were able to win or lose, it's a huge game next week at New Orleans. But it looks like Jameis is going to be getting the nod against the Bucs.
And I'll just say this. I don't even care if New Orleans would have won that game yesterday. This does not change. The Bucs are the best team in the NFC South. From what I've seen so far, and I know we haven't seen the Bucs play tonight, New Orleans could have been 3-0. New Orleans has not played good football offensively through 3 games. Surprise, surprise, Derek Carr is the quarterback who got benched by the Raiders last year. A little change of scenery after 10 years in the league where he was, a middling quarterback, had 1 really good year mixed in, was not going to change that. That's why I never bought into the Saints are going to run the NFC South undisputedly and all that garbage. They're not that team offensively right now. I know Kamara's not there and whatnot, but I'm not that impressed by the Saints. I think the Bucs are the best team. And I think what you saw with New Orleans, I think we both believe that Jameis can get the job done. I would rather say this. I'd much rather have Jameis at whatever they're paying him, $5 million, $10 million, than have Derek Carr at $40 million. I truly believe that. I don't think it changes much there.
They're stuck
Right.
with
I
him
don't think
for
it
3
changes
years.
much there, but I don't know what they're doing offensively. I haven't been able to figure that out. Dennis Allen's a defensive head coach. I don't know. New Orleans to me is not all that they were hyped up to be, and that's a big lift for the Bucs. That game, you talk about the next 3 games, Philly, New Orleans, and Detroit. Man, if the Bucs can win 2 of those. That would be fantastic. But I think this helps a lot.
And the Falcons, by the way, I mentioned that Lions game, the Falcons rushed for 44 yards. 44 against the Lions. Now, the Lions are better defensively, but
right. But you need Ritter to make plays, man, and he just can't do it.
Yeah, 21 of 38 for 201 yards. 38 passing attempts for 201. I mean, they're just not pushing the ball downfield.
And
Kyle Pitts did get 9 targets, but only caught 5 for 41.
And that's the best game he's had in a long, long time. And
it's not a lot, though. It's not impactful. Like, if you're targeting a guy 9 times on the outside and he's catching 5 for 41, that's
right.
That's not winning football. It's not winning football.
I think the story there, before we move on to the next game, the story there for me, Jordan Love, again, we talk about quarterbacks and we talked about Justin Fields. Jordan Love, I know we had the benefit to sit, and I like that. 3rd career start, no Aaron Jones, no Christian Watson, no David Bakhtiari, no Elton Jenkins, rookie wideouts all over the place, rookie tight end, no running game to speak of, and Jordan Love gets it done.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see out of my young quarterbacks. I don't like playing the excuse game. I just want you to do it. If you're that guy, you do it. And I've seen good things from Jordan Love through 3 games. I thought he was the overall story of that game, the way he battled back in that 4th quarter.
All right, speaking of young quarterbacks, how about the Texans going into Jacksonville and thumping the Jags 37-17? 37-17. CJ Stroud, 20 of 30, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence, 27 of 40, 279, 1 touchdown, and an interception. Travis Etienne, 19 carries for 88 yards. I mean, they ran up some yards at 400 total yards, outgained the Texans 404 to 366, but the Texans get the big win. That was one of the shockers of the day to me.
The Texans, I think, they're not a good football team. Not going to say that. But they're a team, like, they brought in a lot of talent in the offseason, like a lot of veterans. Bob Woods, a veteran there, obviously. Dalton Schultz, who they haven't really figured out how to get involved yet. And they got some really good young receivers. You saw Tank Dell making an impact there in that game. Nico Collins, outstanding as well. And DeMeco Ryans, I mean, guess where he came from? San Francisco. Had the best defense in the league for years. That guy can coach. And CJ Stroud is well above schedule. He's putting up historic numbers for a rookie quarterback through 3 games, and I don't think he's thrown a pick yet either. I mean, you want to talk about shedding the Ohio State label of quarterbacks in the NFL? He's doing it single-handedly. And so I think the Texans, they could grind out, 5 or 6 wins maybe this season, and I'd call that a success. They're going to be in every game, but you just want to see CJ Stroud progressing, and he's done that every single game has been better. Week 1, week 2, week 3. So Stroud definitely ahead by a wide margin of these rookie quarterbacks so far.
Yeah, in that game, Andrew Beck from Tampa, 255-pound fullback, became the heaviest player in NFL history to return a kickoff for a touchdown.
And he looked like you running out there. He's barely moving.
How do you return a kickoff 85 yards at 255 pounds? Congratulations. Well done. But that special teams play, that'll get it done. So that was one of the bigger surprises of the day. Obviously, the Chargers beating the Vikings 28-24. And that was almost a giveaway game in that one as well.
This to me was. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Keenan Allen, by the way, 18 catches for 215 yards for the Chargers, 405 yards for Justin Herbert and 3 touchdowns.
Right. Yeah. This game to me was like the battle of who's gonna blow it first. These two franchises are just historically cursed. I'm waiting for who it's Staley, by the way.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness! At the end of the game, there
Goes forward on fourth and 1, gets stuffed, gets the Vikings get the ball back. That's just. I mean, I'm always be aggressive in those situations. That's just freaking idiotic.
It's idiotic, and he's very, very lucky that his defense finally bailed him out there at the end. And I don't know. I still both those. And Mike Williams, by the way, significant knee injury. Looks like he might be out for the year potentially. So more targets for Keenan Allen, I guess. But I don't think either of those two teams are among the elite. Not even close.
I had the Colts getting 7.5 against the Ravens. I didn't think they'd win the game outright. Are you kidding me? Matt Gay kicks 4 field goals over 50 yards. Was on my bench, by the way. I went with Dicker, the kicker, instead of Matt Gay.
What are you doing playing in a fantasy league with kickers?
My God!
What are you doing?
My Gay Dicker combo. I played it wrong. I played my kicking tandem wrong and went with the Dicker instead of Gay, and that cost me big against John Smoltz this week. That would have been the winning edge for me because he scored like 26 fantasy points, and Dicker, the kicker, got 4. Screwed me. But congrats to Matt Gay and the Colts. Get a big win. How about that?
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor not there, and Zach Moss through 2 games that he's been healthy has been doing just fine. So
30 carries, 122 yards. Gardner Minshew in for the concussed Anthony Richardson goes 27 of 44, 227 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Where's this vaunted Ravens offense? What we were supposed to see this year?
I mean, injuries to the running back position have killed them, but even then, like I know Odell's not there. Zay Flowers seems to be the only guy that's getting targets. Like Bateman, just nothing to him really. I think he has 9 targets in 3 games. Like they're throwing a Nelson Aguilar. We're still doing that in 2023. The Ravens to me, even the first 2 weeks, they didn't play good football, and they got beat yesterday because once again, you can only continue to do that for so long before somebody beats you. But I think again, Indy getting that win, other than Chicago, none of these teams are just terrible. Yeah. Like Chicago's the only truly terrible team that I think I've seen in the NFL so far.
The Panthers aren't great, but they scored 27 yesterday against the Seahawks. But Geno Smith still getting it done. But I think the Panthers will actually be a little bit better. I mean, obviously a young team trying to get better, but if they stick with Andy Dalton, who was 34 of 58 for 361, 2 touchdowns, the biggest numbers of the week against that Seattle defense. But this is supposed to be Bryce Young's team, so are they going back to him?
It doesn't have to be right now. I mean, you're the Panthers. I mean, what are you 0-3 now? So I guess you can make the argument of what's the benefit with going with Andy because he gives you a better chance to win, but you want to get Bryce those reps. I know it's a fine line. But the way he looked in the first 2 weeks, he just looked completely overwhelmed. And he just looked unmatched. Like, the offensive line's not great. And I just feel like that's just a bad situation for a rookie. Like, if you can avoid it, and I think Andy Dalton makes it to where you can avoid it, just don't do it. Mm-hmm. I think you can have him sit for a little bit.
All right, we've already talked a little bit about the Chiefs and Bears, and we're the only show in the entire nation to not do a Swiftie joke reference. She was there. By the way, she's walking through the locker room. Did you see the little – this is the only thing I want to – why is she in the locker room? I've been in NFL locker rooms. Let me just say, there's a lot of swinging D's running around, and he's parading Taylor Swift through an NFL locker room?
Well, we don't know if she was in the locker room.
No,
the
clip that I saw looked very much like she was walking through the locker room.
Well, it's Taylor Swift. I mean, what are you going to do?
Not take her to the locker room. All right. We got a couple minutes left. That's college football. We talked a lot about the FSU game with Dan Lucas earlier. Huge win for the Noles. I think they played their C+, B- game and went into Clemson and won. I think Clemson's a pretty damn good football team. I don't think there's a lot of teams that are going to run in there against that team. It's still very talented, a very oppressive place to play. That's a huge win for FSU. They're 4-0. They've got a week off. They'll do some self-scouting, and this team's best football should be ahead of them because they still are very dependent on the jump balls to Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. I think the offense can get so much more varied, and I think the defense can be a hell of a lot better than it is. They're too talented to be that bad defensively. I think FSU has a great resume already, one of the best in the nation with 2 huge wins. And I think they're in the hunt, no question about it, but they should get better.
Yeah, their best football, like you said, is ahead of them. And the schedule, by the way, it's not going to let up. Syracuse is a good football team, borderline ranked team, and they're going to be a player. They're 4-0. You're going to see them. You're going to see Duke. You're going to see Miami. Florida, I guess you got. I mean, Florida's always going to be a tough game, and especially
in
going
Gainesville.
Into the swamp.
Never easy. No.
Right. I still think
they just beat the 11th ranked team in the nation and pounded them in Gainesville.
Right. I still think you got 4 big games to go on your schedule.
And then probably North Carolina and Drake May in the ACC championship game.
Right. So, listen, based on the way they've played through 4 games, and, survive in advance, to me, at the end of the day, survive in advance and move on to the next one. If they play the way they've played the last 2 games, I think they will have a slip-up through one of these games. I think I would agree with that. But considering the fact that Jordan Travis, and this is a big deal, Jordan Travis, when he gets to open space and you can run the RPO game and he's a threat to run, it's a different dynamic for the offense. Jordan Travis clearly could not run at all yesterday. He didn't even want to because he clearly couldn't get hit or it was hurting for him to run, whatever it was. So that changed an element of your offense that's pretty big, and you were still able to grind that victory out. Also with no running game, like that's the big thing if I critique FSU, they need to figure out how to run the football. Yeah. I don't see the same Trey Benson from last year that's shown up so far. I don't see that in any of these. I've seen good things from Hill. I think he's been their best back when he's gotten the chance. But they have some things to clean up defensively as well, like you said. They're opportunistic, but just from a play-to-play standpoint, they give up too many chunk plays and third down, man. You got to get off the field on third down, especially third down and long. They allow a lot of big plays on third and long through the middle of the field, and that's a bit alarming.
Adam Fuller, their defensive coordinator, a lot of people don't have a lot of faith in him, and
he's not championship level.
They've got to be better. They've got the talent is too good on the defensive side of the ball to be 101st. Defensively, the third and longs, it seems like every time the opposing team has a big third down, they get the matchup they want. They get a one-on-one with a bigger receiver or faster receiver or a running back on a line. They always get the matchup that they want, and the guy's wide ass open. And that to me is coaching. That's coaching, and they need to be better defensively. They're not going to win anything from a championship standpoint unless their defense improves dramatically, and I think they have the talent to do it. They have the talent to do it, but we'll see. How about the Notre Dame Ohio State game, and then 10 players on the field in the goal line situation at the end, and they run right at the vacancy where the defensive end was supposed to be, and at the gun, Ohio State wins over Notre Dame, who had a great comeback to take the lead late. I mean, a low-scoring game, but man, that was dramatic. What a game!
Yeah, Notre Dame, that one got away from them, man. I thought they were the better team for majority of that game. I picked Notre Dame to win that game because I had questions with Ohio State, particularly on offense, with McCord. But, damn, and that was 2 plays in a row, by the way. They had 2 plays in a row where they had 10 guys on the field.
Jesus, how does that happen?
Marcus Freeman, you're at home. It's not like you're on the road. It's inexcusable either way, but you're the home team. Somebody's got to see it on that coaching side.
Third and 19? 3rd and 19, and you give up a 3rd and 19 with 15 seconds left? Are you freaking kidding me? It was a hell of a throw by Kyle McCord. He ripped that thing, but still, come on, man. You got 10 players on. How do you have 10 players on the field? That's
I don't know. And I will say,
I don't know if that's dumber or the 3rd and 1 or the 2nd and 1 where they're running the ball at Will. Clemson is. Will Shipley's just steamrolling up the middle. And Dabo allows his quarterback to do a check with me and throw out to the outside on a wide receiver screen that loses 2 yards. Holy shiz. What a complete mental meltdown. Awful. All right, Colorado. 42-6. They were down 42-0 at Oregon. And you saw Dan Lanning's speech, right?
Yep.
We're looking for wins. They're looking for clicks. the Cinderella story's over. People had a problem with that, including Dion. I'm like, get
Come
over
on.
it. Get over it, Dion. You of all people, I'm keeping receipts. Shut up.
Can
Come
we
on.
stop this?
Take your beating.
I know I said last week when I came on, like, I was so excited to watch Colorado play football. How could you not be? Like, I wanted to hate it, but it was just so captivating and all that. But now I'm why does every game got to be personal? And it's got to have this, like, storyline to it. Like, can we just play the game and move on? And by the way, nothing that took place on that field surprised me. Yeah. Nothing. Because TCU is not that great of a football team.
They're not.
Their defense allowed 42 against TCU. They struggled with Nebraska for about 2.5 quarters. And then Colorado State, best game of the year I'll probably see all year, but it's Colorado State. And you had to go all the way down to overtime to beat them in your own place. And then you go place a team like Oregon that's got guys everywhere. And clearly Dan Lanning knows a thing or two about coaching, coming from Georgia being their DC. Bo Nix is a great quarterback, physical, in their place. Colorado never had a shot, and it's their offensive line. Their offensive line is just horrendous. They're not going to win too many games in the Pac-12 this year with that offensive line, especially with the way the Pac-12 is playing right now as a conference.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado ain't that team right now. Like Dion said, they're 7 to 8 guys away or dogs away, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, and he like he said, this is the worst I'm going to be, but that may or may not be true because you got an NFL quarterback right now in your son, and he ain't going to be there forever. So, but Dion's a good coach. He's going to get great. He's going to get great talent. He knows how to play the game, the publicity game. And, a lot of that publicity he didn't ask for, but he certainly loves every bit of it. The media's gone crazy over him. We all know why. It is what it is. But I think as much as I love the Colorado story, and I do, and I'm not a Dion hater, I think we all enjoyed a little bit of humble pie there, if we're all being honest, right? All right. Any other college football things you want to touch on?
Last one I'll just point out. I know they're kind of flying underneath the radar, but watch out for the Washington Huskies this season. I don't see them moving up in the poll as much as they probably should, but that offense might be the best offense in all of college football. And Michael Penix, he's your Heisman winner as of today.
Yeah.
And fantastic. And it's going to be a top 5 pick probably if he keeps playing like this.
Washington State ain't too shabby either.
Neither are they. And Cam Ward also very, very good. The Pac-12 is the best conference in college football.
It is. Isn't that crazy? The last year of the Pac-12, and they're the best top to bottom, I think they're the strongest conference in football. That's crazy to say that, but it's true. Absolutely. All right, Nick, great job as always, my friend. Appreciate your time. We'll be back at the patio tonight, 4 to 6, 6:30. We'll see how long we stay there. Then we're heading over to the Bucs game, and we'll be doing a post-game show as well. So long day for me, but that's cool. I love it. Enjoy the Bucs game tonight. Enjoy what's left of the race season because it's not going to be very long. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.